That was your warm-up to call you into music. I want you to arise in body or in spirit to join with the Baltimore Unitarian congregation who will be on the screen with us as we sing Answering the Call of Love. And I want to give you just a little background about this song that I think is meaningful about who we are as a movement. The original version of the song had a different lyric. It was standing on the side of love. And that particular lyric came out of a conversation that Jason Shelton, the songwriter, was sitting in on when a reporter was interviewing the Reverend, the then president of the UUA. And he was asked, where does the Unitarian Universalist Association stand on equal marriage? And he answered, we stand on the side of love. Well, when disability advocates came to Jason Shelton and says, I can't stand. I don't have the physical ability to stand. The language was changed. We're answering the call of love. We still are on the side of love. By whatever means we have the physical ability to do so. So I invite you in that spirit to join us in singing along with this congregation who did the recording, Answering the Call of Love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Go ahead and be seated. It seemed to me to echo as doubly important this morning when I read in the New York Times that this weekend the Southern Baptist Convention is beginning, it has a motion on their agenda of whether or not they will try to mount a challenge to the Supreme Court ruling that guaranteed equal marriage. I am proud to be part of the religious left.
We invite the gong 3 times, once in memory of those who have come before us, dedicating their time, money, and hearts to this congregation. Once in honor of all of us who are here today, working with enthusiasm to maintain and to grow this beloved community. Once with much love and hope for those who will dedicate themselves to building this community in the future. Good morning. It's Sunday, June 8th, 2025. My name is Kathy Mitchell, and I'm your service leader for today. In this congregation, all are welcome. Here we strive to support one another as we search for truth, meaning, and community within ourselves and in our lives. Whatever path you currently follow, wherever you are on that path, however you name what is holy or deeply meaningful to you, you are welcome to share your journey with us. However you identify or describe yourself, whoever you are inspired to love, we warmly welcome you to this beloved community. Much appreciation to our office administrator, Genevieve Gonzalez, who's doing an amazing job keeping lines of communication open while working from home, and to media director, Jake Tranter, who, always flexible, goes above and beyond to ensure our service is shared with those who cannot attend in person.
Our chalice lighting this morning is by Beverly and David Bomba, who I had the honor of knowing. David was one of my professors in seminary, and his wife and fellow minister was a significant part of the Meadville Lombard Theological School community. They wrote,
"Our church exists to proclaim the gospel that every human being is infinitely precious.
that the meaning of our lives lies hidden in our interactions with each other.
We wish to be a church where we encounter each other with wonder, appreciation, and expectation.
Where we call out of each other's strengths, wisdom, and compassion we never knew we had.
In our community today, there are many children and adults, housed and unhoused, facing illness, hunger, and often in despair. Acting in compassion for those who are in need, our service to the larger community is to collect your food and money for donations for the Fish Food Pantry. Our church offering is later in the service. Contributions are greatly appreciated and will definitely be put to good use in the community.
Not surprisingly, I have a story to share. I just want to give a little background to the decision on this particular story. It wasn't my idea, it was hers. This is the last Sunday I will likely be with you for an extended period of time because you're looking to try a new minister. And when a minister arrives in a congregation, the expectation is that a minister who's been serving gets out of the way. For up to a couple of years of not being around, and I've been around here for a while doing a Sunday a month for going on 6 years now, and I won't be around for a bit. And so she said, a story, we want to lift that up because I'm the guy who shares lots of stories, children's stories. And in the season that we're in, lots of people share this story, Oh, the Places You'll Go. It's become almost a ritual at some graduation ceremony. So here it is today here. Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. And you're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy or the gal or person who will decide where to go. It's up to you, folks. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care, and some you'll say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. This one, you have to see the whole picture, the wide range of possibilities that exist out there. It's opener there in the wide open air. Oh, the things, there are things out there, things can happen and frequently do to people as brainy and footsy as you. This one you need to see the whole thing too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up and you'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who fly to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you're the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, and you'll be left in the lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and sometimes the contrast on the pages is not that good. I need these. And the chances are then you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You come to the place where the streets are not marked, some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could both sprain both elbows and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you should go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4 or maybe not quite? Or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you'll find, for a mind maker upper to make up their mind. You can get so confused that you start in to race down long, wiggly roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles along weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, for a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying, and you'll find the right places where boom bands are playing. With banners flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical thing you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you on TV, except when they don't. Because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, games you can't win, because you'll play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go. Though the weather be foul, and you will go through though your enemies prowl, and on you will go through the hack and cracks howl, onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. I invite you to look around for a moment. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. And never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And you will succeed. Yes, you will indeed. 98 and 100% guaranteed. You'll move mountains, folks. So, be your name Bumba or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai, Ali, Van Allen, O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way.
I hope we're all inspired now. We take this time in community with each other to share our joys and concerns regarding significant milestones in our lives. I invite those who wish to light a candle to form a line to my right. If you have a spoken candle, please give your name and please be brief. We're supported by the voluntary generosity of all of our friends and members. We are committed to using your gifts to make a difference in the world and to expand our beloved community. We are deeply grateful for your support of our shared hopes and values. Our speaker today is someone who really needs no introduction. He's well known to everyone, but introduce him I must. Reverend Dennis Reynolds came to ministry after a 30-year career as a preschool administrator at the University of Oregon. He has since retired to Eugene after serving churches in Oregon and Washington State and as a hospital chaplain. Dennis believes the most powerful sermons are those written with a religious text in one hand and a current news source in the other. Reverend Dennis enjoys lifelong learning and the practice of crafting sermons and being our part-time minister.
Before we share our reading and move into a time of words, I invite you to enter into a time of silence as we share a meditation together. And it's a movement meditation that I brought here. It kind of came to me from wherever things come, and it begins with hands open to receive whatever comes. Knowing that sometimes the things that come will bring us joy, and sometimes they'll bring us sorrow. But we're open to come, whatever may come. And accept it as what is, and then bring it to your heart. Hold it there for just a moment, and then, as it is for all things, when it's time to let it go, to exhale and let it go, so that your hands can be empty and open to receive what will come next. So let's try that a couple of times together with words, and then repeat it at your own pace in silence. Open, inhale, hold, exhale and let go. Open, in, hold, and let go. Open, in, hold, and let go. The next time you get to a hole, just stop there for a bit and breathe, perhaps sensing the beating of your own heart, knowing that other hearts beat all around you. cleansing breath in and out as we return to our shared time together. And Kathy and I have a reading to share with you. It's from Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit, adapted just a little bit. I've got it here if you just want to look online, Kathy. You got
I'm
it?
good.
Okay.
Moths and other nocturnal insects navigate by the moon and the stars. These heavenly bodies are useful for them to find their way.
Even though they never get far from the surface of the earth.
But light bulbs and candles can send them astray. They fly into the heater flame and die. For these creatures, to arrive is a calamity.
When we mistake heaven for some goal at which we must arrive, we burn ourselves out or create a seeming utopia in which others are burned by the flames.
Don't mistake a light bulb for the moon. And don't believe that the moon is useless unless we land on it.
After all those millennia of poetry about the moon, nothing was more prosaic than the guys in spacesuits stomping around on the moon with their flags and golf clubs.
The moon is profound, except when we land on it.
The moon is profound, except when we land on it. As I noted in the introduction to the story, this is the season of graduations. It's a time when many are trying to determine where they might go from here, especially when the options can seem so very, very wide open. I contend that there are many ways to graduate in one's journey through the education process and in our lives. In schools, nowadays, formal graduation ceremonies begin with kindergarten, where we've got little kids decked out in cap and gowns and receiving these very formal script-looking diplomas. You know, I suspect even though it's kind of cute, it's far more for the parents and grandparents and such than it is for the kids. At that point in life, 5- and 6-year-olds don't spend a lot of time analyzing with great depth what their life path might be. At that point in life, decisions of the days like what kind of cereal I want to talk my mom into buying at the store, or what snack I might get when I get home from school are more primary to the thoughts. Long-term planning, if there is any, extends about as far out to what gift I might give for the next Christmas or my next birthday, or perhaps pondering for months what I want to be for Halloween. At that age, one might spend lots of time exploring what you want to be when you grow up, but it's mostly about play and imagination rather than crafting a path about how you might get there. Now, while some kids begin to ponder future past my middle school, most are focusing on what's happening now, or who's talking about what or who now, or what's going on after school, or maybe Friday night. Young children seldom need to be reminded to be present in the here and now, to focus on the precious moment. They're already pretty good at that and can often serve as teachers for the rest of us. Now, by high school graduation, decisions on the path one wants to take begin to have increasingly significant impacts on one's future. We have of late seen an incredible amount of data about the differences and disparities surfacing between those with a college education and those who stop formal schooling after high school. Not only are wages higher for college grads, but so are most health outcomes and even life expectancy. Such differences have grown, and they shape in part the cultural divisions in our society. In my childhood, I grew up in a neighborhood where the people across the street were a truck driver and his secretary wife, and my household were both college-educated parents. Now, we would likely live in different neighborhoods with different housing price tags and maybe send our kids to different schools. Zip code data can be used as a strong indicator of school success and all the life differences that will follow. Differences in education levels are a significant factor in the divisiveness that is rampant in our culture. We're all too aware that many hold very different worldviews and have sometimes competing cultural values and political leanings. Whatever level of education one obtains and however many school graduation ceremony one participates in, these are not the only kind of influential life crossroads we encounter. There are also many times when one is faced with that daunting question, where do we go from here? It's a kind of graduation when we finish a life chapter and are faced with the question of, now what? My kids are more independent or grown and moved away. Now what? A relationship has ended or a new one is beginning. Now what? I moved to a new community or a loved one has died. Now what? The John Lennon lyric, "It will be just like starting over," comes to mind. There are many times in life when one starts over. When we stop working or end a volunteer commitment is another time to ask, now what? For me, as I end my consulting contract with you and concurrently end a 4-year term of service on the City of Eugene Sustainability Commission, I'm at one of those crossroads. Now what? Though we may seek to focus more fully on each precious moment, changes in our life necessitate planning and preparation for what will come next. Often our decision-making processes about the places we might go on our life journey are shaped by what others might choose to do. In my case, the decision of 2 of my kids to live abroad and their subsequent decisions to have children in other countries, when combined with my deep desire to spend time with my grandchildren and, incidentally, their parents, means that I travel as far as often as my budget will and my time lag recovery abilities will allow me to England and South Africa. A key factor for me in deciding what to do next in my life is the horrific realities of the political crisis of our time. Whether it's the genocidal famine unfolding in Gaza, the continuing wars in Sudan and Ukraine, the slashing of life-saving services across the world, and cuts for medical care for veterans and low-income folks in towns across America, or the harassment, detention, and deportation of some of our neighbors, or the effort to delegitimize the very existence of those who don't fit in within a narrow binary heterocentric system of allowable identity and acceptable expression. In response, I often ask, what the is going on? Followed by the question of what am I going to do? Now what? Rebecca Solnit, the author of our reading today, has provided some helpful advice to help me find some answers. I like her notion about the moon as a guiding light and its potential hazards. Such advice reminds me of a Buddhist teaching I heard once, and I tried to find the source, and I couldn't exactly, but it still resonates as true for me. To walk in the direction of the moon is a good direction in which to walk. Solnit advises us that in seeking a better world, it is the seeking of a better world that is important. While we may never arrive at the utopia we seek, we can get closer to it, one step at a time. Solnit advises us to stop seeking perfection. She says perfection is a stick with which to beat the possible. Perfection is a stick with which to beat the possible. Now, the teachers who advise us on how to deconstruct the dominant paradigm of this culture tell us that perfectionism is a facet of white supremacy culture and a key part of the dualistic Eurocentric worldview that would have us establish arbitrary distinctions of good versus evil, right versus wrong, or even whether one's own path will eventually lead to heaven or hell, and that those views should be based on a very narrow interpretation of Judeo-Christian teachings and capitalist system priorities. In reality, though perfection is unnecessary and usually unobtainable anyway, better is good. Better is very, very good. Solnit also reminds us there will always be devastation, she writes. We cannot eliminate all devastation for all times, but we can reduce it, outlaw it, undermine its sources and foundation. These are victories. A better world, yes. A perfect world, never. She advises that often the best way to point oneself in the direction you wish to go is to look backwards. She uses the metaphor of a rowboat. As any of you who have rowed knows, be it in a rowboat or a raft or a rowing scull, if you wish to maximize your potential in a rowboat, you face directly away from the direction you want to go. We orient ourselves by landmarks beside us or behind us, because to look around too much disrupts the rhythm of our rowing and limits our forward progress. Now, the most efficient rowing takes place in boats with multiple rowers. A so-called 8-man or 8-person scull is seen as the fastest rowboat. In such a boat, there is one person who looks ahead, the coxswain. You've no doubt seen such a person depicted in movies. They tend to be on the small side, and sometimes they have a megaphone strapped to their head. I always wondered how the straps kind of worked, but you've seen that look. Their role is to advise the rowers on their pacing, shouting sometimes, stroke, 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 and other times, stroke, 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 knowing that none of us, be we rowers or laborers or volunteers, can go full speed all the time. It burns us out and reduces our ability to successfully complete the journey. The coxswain is also a cheerleader, both by shouting out, go, 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 and offering exuberant encouragement and praise like, good job, y'all, good job. And by leaning forward when the going gets rough and simply reminding teammates, we can do this, we can do this. At times advising, ready now, and other times urging push around a bend in the river, or slowing down when there are chopping conditions. Now, a mostly steady pace, I know from my past years as a runner, is usually the best way to travel swiftly from point A to point B. In life, though, it's not simply a process of getting from point A to point B, for we never arrive at the world we dream of. In striving to change the world, we never get to utopia, yet we continue to travel towards a better world. And we know when we look backwards and we continue to head in the direction toward that better world. We know because so many things have gotten better in the past, and we know that the effects of many, the efforts of many, including the efforts of many in this room, have made progress possible. Slavery has been nearly abolished from the earth. Colonial empires have mostly been overcome. Unions, remember them? The people who gave us the 5-day work week made situations for most workers safer and more rewarding. Same-sex marriage is now legal, and laws seeking to better assure equitable treatment for many have been passed. In many, many ways, the world has gotten better and brighter because people sought for the light. Individually, too, we seek a better world for ourselves and our beloveds. In community, we find a place where we can seek together, each on our own path, yet walking towards shared goals. It's often repeated in this room that this is a place you can be yourself, but not by yourself. We walk together towards being the community, the congregation we long to be. I have sometimes, as a minister, felt like I'm sort of like a coxswain. I do not do the rowing, the real heavy lifting. That is especially true in a lay-led congregation like this one. In larger congregations, there are staff, sextons, custodians, director of religious education, and even business managers who do much of the heavy lifting. Yet there, too, a minister often functions like a coxswain. At times, I seek to nudge you to dig in, to engage more fully. Other times, I urge you to take time to simply breathe, to contemplate, and to explore a wide range of possible actions. I've also tried to be both an honest critic and perhaps your biggest fan. I listen deeply and seek to help you find the shared path that your sometimes seemingly divergent voices at their core point you towards, seeking to synthesize what I hear from all of you. My time with you has been quite a journey. As I noted, it began about 6 years ago with an occasional Sunday down here and in this pulpit. And then the pandemic hit, disrupted our lives and our church, and we spent time apart. I came down one Thursday a month to pre-record the service and then followed up with a Sunday conversation about that service in the then new to us technology called Zoom. The Buddhist teacher, Louis Richmond, writes about that time. He wrote, "We all remember how it was. COVID came from nowhere and exploded into our lives like a biblical plague of old. We were afraid to go out. We wore masks. Before the vaccines came, thousands of people languished on ventilators. When they were near death, spouses and other loved ones were not allowed to visit. The best nurses could do was FaceTime. We were all so alone and couldn't see our friends except on Zoom. We couldn't touch and see those that meant the most to us. When we returned here to being together here in this beloved sanctuary, much had changed, both within the world around us and within each and every one of us. Some people stayed away and a few new folks joined you, and I engaged with you more fully. I believe, though, that the shadow of that pandemic still darkens our culture and lurks in corners. fear persists. It's still out there. It was a difficult time. It was also a learning time. We learned that connection to place and connection to each other is of deep importance. Looking back at those times teaches us that we can get through profound difficulties. It was a plague, my friend, a freaking plague. And then when everything seemed finally over, when all seemed nearly perfect, you had a flood. Talk about biblical. Looking back now, you know you are resilient. You know you can get through difficulties, and you know that through it all, that the love that is central to our faith and to this community can and will continue to move you forward, stroke by stroke or step by step. I'd like to close my sermon this morning with you with the words of the Ecuadorian writer Eduardo Galeano, who wrote, "Utopia is on the horizon. When I walk 2 steps, it is 2 steps further away. When I walk 10 steps, it is 10 steps further away." What is utopia for? Utopia is for walking. Utopia is for walking. May you continue to walk together in love and in faith.
And now, at this time, we have a ritual of departing. If you'll look at your order of service, you'll see that there's parts marked minister and parts marked congregation.
And for those who miss a congregational conversation, there's one scheduled for after the service today. It's now time for us formally to let go of one another. In our free church, there is perhaps no bond more sacred than the bond between a minister and the congregation that has chosen one to serve. This is because the ministers in power authority come not from on high, but from the hearts and minds of those we serve. Please stand and look at the insert in your order of service for the words for this ceremony. You have offered me your free pulpit. In gratitude for this gift, I offer sage to symbolize the wisdom that comes from creating a meaningful worship together, rooted in a rich spiritual life. I hereby return the ministry of worship to your able hands. Use it to speak the truth and love to one another. May this loving truth be a source of joy and gladness for you.
We thank you for your service in our pulpit. We accept its power of freedom for ourselves and release you from your service as worship leader.
You have welcomed me into the transitional moments of your life, times of sorrow and or joy. For the gratitude for this gift you have given me, I offer the herb rosemary. rosemary for remembrance. Remembrance of comfort and given and joys celebrated together. I hereby return the ministry of pastoral care to your hands. Use it to comfort and to celebrate the milestones of your life with compassion and care.
Offered us. We accept this power of compassion for ourselves and release you from your service as pastoral caregiver.
You've asked me to advise and consult on the administrative and governance process of this congregation. As professional religious leader and gratitude for this gift you have given me, I offered time as the symbol of our time together and our shared experience. I hereby return the process of the work of this congregation to you. May you continue to guide yourself with courage and wisdom into a strong and sure future.
But thank you for pastoral care. You accept its power of compassion.
To symbolize the fact that our respective ministries will continue separately, we're going to invite Sharon and I together will light these 2 candles near the chalice. The first one that Sharon lights is for symbolize your ministry. The one I light, the other symbolizes my ministry. Our ministries will continue separately. And so I let go of our covenant with one another. Go your way in peace, truth, and love.
With one another, go your way in peace, truth, and love.
So please remain standing for our shared hymn. This particular one I chose not only because of the message within it about voices, but because I had the blessing of week before last, going to a Waylon Jennings concert, hearing the songwriter herself begin this song. So please join in singing One Voice by Ruth Moody of the Waylon Jennings.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too, the sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind and we'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Our closing words of benediction are from David Blanchard. Do more than keep the promises you make in this community.
Do something more. Keep promising.
As time passes, keep promising new things, yet unimagined things,
Promises that will be needed.
needed to fill the expanses of time and love.
Keep promising.
Salam, shalom, amen, and blessed be. And as is the tradition of this congregation, I invite you to join hands in a circle as you're willing and able for a closing song. Go lift it up.
Ooh.